Today, we're going to look at a panelist from CNN.
If race is not the issue, then why is DEI mentioned every single day as a solution to every single problem that faces this
Because of how pervasive it is,
and
how hateful
really
it is
true?
to an actual conservative ideological view.
But do you think it is true that all of America's ills, from the plane crash to whatever it is, wildfires, due to DEI for real?
I think that if you believe in the fundamental principle of America, which is that we guarantee everybody an equal chance, not an equal outcome, but an equal chance, then trying to go around that principle, conservatives don't believe in it. And most people who believe in America don't believe in it, number one. Number two, the concept of not hiring the best person for the job in government or anywhere else has been repeatedly rejected by the American people, the Supreme Court, and everything else. And so
what do you get?
Yeah, as you can see, this panel is pretty heated. There's a lot of emotion going on. We're going to see some more clips where there's quite a bit of emotion. But just want to point out at this first clip, that is one of the fundamental beliefs of the right. The right believes that DEI maybe has a good intention, maybe it has good goals of presenting access and opportunity. But as he stated, the right believes that it often has bad results, that oftentimes there are people who are in positions of power who shouldn't be there. They have lower competence than others, but they're put there because of some diversity attribute in their lives. But I would like to see what the left has to say about DEI.
I just want to say that I think the premise that DEI exists and therefore the people that got the opportunity, perhaps because of DEI, are not qualified is a flawed premise.
Correct.
And I think that is what is so frustrating about the argument around DEI. We know in this country historically, and even today, there are still injustices in this country based on race, based on gender, based on ideology.
Based on who your daddy played
golf with. Yes.
Okay, that happens every single day. We know that.
But it happens every single day all over the planet.
That's
the
what I'm
planet
saying.
Earth. It is human nature. It is human in every single, and we're the best at it. We're the best at trying to
Donald Trump's our president.
Arthur, I guess that's exactly my point. I agree with you. I think that it is true that there have been preferences not for merit since the dawn of time. And that in this country right now, the same people who are going after DEI, which is about giving opportunities to people who have been historically marginalized, are just as willing to hire their friends.
Is that what equity means? Giving opportunity?
Right. So exactly what she was saying. The left, the fundamental belief of the left of DEI is to provide opportunities for people who have been perceived as marginalized, who wouldn't have opportunities. So somehow compensating for people's background, people's history, in order to give people the same opportunities as other people have. That's a big fundamental core belief of the left about DEI. But where the debate becomes a little sticky is the debate about equality of opportunity versus the equality of outcome. Equality of opportunity, meaning that you have the opportunity. The equality of outcome would mean that every diverse group has the exact statistic backgrounds and the same shared results as every other group. So that's where it becomes a little sticky. We'll see in this panel.
Is that what equity means? Giving opportunity or guaranteeing outcomes?
No, it's giving access.
Because that's what equity means.
It's
a difference. There's a difference between equality and equity.
No, it's giving access.
I just want to answer his question because I think
Wouldn't
this
talent
is super,
and hard work
Scott,
give you
I think
access?
this is incredibly important for you to understand and for everybody to understand at home, okay? This is where I think we go crossways on this issue. You just asked the question, what does equity mean? Does it mean equality or does it mean access to opportunities? And conservatives want to define it a particular way, but you have to acknowledge, I'm asking you to acknowledge that people who believe in DEI do not define it that way. They do not define it as equality.
I think they define it as trying to guarantee outcomes, and I think they define it as trying to punish people they don't like.
Scott, that's
wrong race, wrong gender.
Speaking from more of the middle of the country.
So this is for me where the left's argument gets a little bit sticky, maybe not presented very well, because they're saying that they want equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome. But many of the things that they'll say, including things you're going to hear, are evidences for equality of outcome. Equality of outcome meaning that they start saying statistics about, well, this group isn't getting paid as much as this group, and there aren't as much of this number as this other group. And these things are statistic things of we want a certain measure of results, a certain measure of outcomes. But equality of opportunity is much harder to calculate. I don't know if it's even calculable, if you can say if you have as much opportunity as somebody else. But we're going to see more of the left's argument here.
The conversation about DEI and woke and all of that sounds about marginalized Black and brown people who already are threatened seem to be threatened in this community, in this society, and they're not getting the same opportunities. It was the same thing with affirmative action. Went to UCLA, they got rid of affirmative action. Everyone said you got in because of affirmative action. When I graduated, affirmative action didn't take my test. Affirmative action didn't help me get to where I'm at today. It gave me access that I didn't have based on the opportunity that I lacked because of the circumstances I was born into, which had nothing to do with me, but the country in which we live in. So the reality is—
Have you seen the test scores of UCLA Medical, by the way?
My point being, Scott, is that everyone doesn't have the same access. People like to hire their friends. They like to hire the people that they like to be around.
Do you think they like to hire the best people for the job?
But I also think around the idea of diversity.
Yeah, so you can kind of see that there's some flaws, maybe. I mean, if you're looking at it with a strong opinion mindset, there's some flaws with both of these arguments. On one side, the guy on the right is like, hey, everybody has the same amount of opportunities and it's only based on your merit and there's nothing else. That's a little strange because everybody's in a different circumstance. Everybody has a different circumstance of life. But yet in her case, it's no, we need to make sure that everyone has the right amount of opportunity. The problem is, the question I always come to is, how are you going to do it? How are you going to make sure that everyone has the right amount of opportunity? At what point is there a number? Is there a status? Is there a ribbon that you receive when you have reached the opportunity equality point? I don't know. But we're going to see more of the debate.
The issue in this country right now is we live in different realities.
That's right.
I live in a reality where I know I do not have the same opportunity as you. I know I don't.
And you know
and
that
I know
too.
what, Scott?
And you know that.
Let me just tell you about me.
I'm gonna let you finish, but I want to answer this.
I'm not talking about how you feel. I'm talking about how I feel. Me, a Black woman in this country.
But not in this city.
And I will run. And if you want
Look,
me
I'm a New Yorker, not in this city. You cannot say that. You can't say that in this city.
I'm not talking about New York. I'm talking about Ashley
let her
Renee
finish.
Allison right here. I got a law degree, a master's, and 2 bachelors. Probably more education than all of y'all added up together at this table,
Fine
right?
by me.
And I have always been the least paid person on payroll at every institution I have worked in. And it's not because—
Even in the White House?
Even in the White House.
Well, whose fault is that? I don't think you worked for George W. or Trump.
Well, guess what happened when I was there? DEI.
Scott.
Look.
So super emotional debate. I'm not a big fan of a lot of arguing and people speaking over other people. It's not helpful really, but I understand it's television. You need ratings. I get it. You need drama. But her big thing is more of an anecdotal argument. It's an anecdotal thing of, I'm not even sure she's saying on statistically. I think she's just saying, I perceive that I've been treated less. I guess it is statistic if she says she's been paid less. So maybe that's a statistic that she could bring up. But then the counter argument would be, well, how do you know that you should have been paid as much as everybody else? How do you know that they didn't bring more value than you did based on work? You know, there's all kinds of counter arguments. But the point is, it's not really a broad-based statistic argument. It's more of an anecdotal argument. Very emotional. Very tense.
But let me tell you something about my story and my family's story is that we have faced discrimination. I have faced discrimination. I just said I was the least paid person, even in this moment sometimes, to my counterparts. It is just the reality of the country we live in. And I'm not saying, I do believe I'm qualified. I know I'm qualified. You won't ever tell me I'm not qualified. But the system that I live in doesn't matter about my qualifications.
I don't agree because
when 2025.
Oh, come
I don't think
on.
we're there in
Come
2025.
on. You can't
That's
just not true.
This clip is just pointing out there's a ton of disagreement. And really, it's anecdotal disagreement. It's she is saying, I perceive I am being mistreated this way. And they are saying, we perceive you're not being mistreated this way. Neither one of those are really solid arguments on the broad-based debate. It is what it is. Yeah.
She's asking to be acknowledged like you get acknowledged. And she knows that that is not the case because she is a Black woman.
She had a high-ranking position in the White House of the United States of America.
Dear friend.
She is one of the most celebrated political operatives in the country.
There's
Do you know how hard I had to work to get that?
Do you know how hard the son of a garbage man had to work at it? So I'm just telling you.
I'm not saying that, but
talent and work ethic are everything. And that's why I think you're here.
It's not true. It's just not true. It's just not true.
Right. So this is important just to understand more of the argument versus the right versus the left. The right is saying, hey, we're already almost or very close to a merit-based society. At least we're closer to a merit-based society than the left thinks we are. And the left says, no, we're not even close, There are many people who are pushed down because of history, because of current practices, and many things to help compensate them, to help get them opportunities. That's the debate of DEI. So DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. I want to know what you think. What do you think about it? Are you for it? Are you against it? Do you think it needs to be done, but it needs to be changed? I want to know what you think. And if you'd like to see more of this kind of content, you could subscribe, like, comment. I'm Tyler Covington with Center Leaning News. I'll see you next time.